What up, y'all? This is Attorney Antonio Moore coming to you from Tone Talks. Having a discussion today. I want to have a discussion about Kamala Harris and Vice Presidential candidate Kamala Harris running for president, and former President Donald Trump running for president as well in the 2024 election. As we've been seeing, Kamala needs the black vote. Trump wants the black vote, and I don't believe neither of them deserve it. Let's get right into the discussion. I'm going to give a chance for you guys to call later. We're going to have a spirited one because I don't know what's going on. I just know that Kamala wasn't supposed to be here. And now that she's here, she's messing a lot of things up. Let's talk about it. So I got a lot of people in the chat. Thank y'all for tuning in, supporting this channel. Please subscribe, donate, share, Patreon, Tone Talks. You can go to tonetalks.net. Share this video because we need this. Shout out to the ADOS Foundation and a wonderful conference that they had there in New Orleans. We're here having this discussion that nobody else is really having because everybody tiptoeing around the fact that this woman, to me, is incompetent and this man is half crazed, and we should have a better liberal candidate. But the DNC failed black folks in particular, but all liberal voters, and now black folks largely uneducated. I'll show you in a second. Many of you guys don't have advanced education to have the political positions you have, because you're not telling me why you're voting for Trump. You're just telling me why you're not voting Democrat. That's not a smart decision to make. Many of y'all got too many kids and too little money. Again, many of y'all got too many kids, need too many programs to be voting the way you vote. Let's talk about it. Half crazy out here. So we got Kamala, we got Trump. Black vote is scattered. Got grown men running households with no life insurance, no health insurance, talking about Trump. All right. In outreach to black men, Harris to vow to legalize weed and protect crypto. What is this woman talking about? She's about lost as sauce when it comes to the black vote, and in particular, black men. That is not how you outreach to black men that are largely collapsed financially. We know the numbers. Unemployed, no wealth, a lot of talk, a lot of bark. And what she gonna do is legalize weed and protect crypto. How that don't help white folk? 310-388-3499. Maybe you can call in and explain, how does these two things not primarily help white folk? I want to talk. This guy, again, I don't know if you went to UCLA political science classes. I didn't see you, this guy with the sketch. Trump needs the black vote too. He don't need it as bad as Kamala. This is not as, I'm going to show later the numbers. The black vote is so consequential in key swing states. How do you not know that and you talking about politics? They both need it. Probably the different numbers, but they both need it. God damn. It's a lot of craze out here. 310-388-3499. Starting with Kamala. She's about as scattered as it comes, both ethnically and politically. She's been everywhere on fracking. She's been everywhere on immigration. She's been everywhere on reparations. She's been everywhere on every political point, to the point where we don't know what she stands for. But we do know she did this Kamala for Wakanda craziness, this fake country. But we have a black celebrity class that has buddied up and created the reason that black folks are starting to turn into love for Trump. Well, I believe without black celebrity, Trump would not have this energy. No typical Republican candidate could get the support that Donald Trump is having, and that largely, to me, came out of hip-hop, along with black celebrities selling themselves. Because that's what they do at these little events and stuff. They sell their presents, 5,000, 10,000. And so you got Lil Wayne with Trump, the hood in the building. You got Ye with Trump. Remember Ye was running for president? You got Serena with Trump. You got Snoop with Trump. Snoop everywhere now. He's doing the voice and everything. Can't sing a lick. You got Diddy with Trump and Melania. It is this doorway that makes Trump a Trojan horse for black political needs. You don't even know you've been programmed through the songs and the music to love Trump. You have been programmed to think of him as somebody that represents ascension when all he does is represent failure. Can I talk about it? I just want to talk because There's two sides to this coin, and they done gave us no options. So because of that, what y'all doing is just hollering in the dark. 310-388-3499. I want to talk about. Let me take the first caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
What's going on, Mr. Antonio? This is Christian from Fayetteville, North Carolina. How you doing, sir?
What up? This is my young. So you grew up in an era where these rappers were rapping about Trump. And what I want to ask is how did that impact your generation seeing Trump? Because I don't believe that a typical Republican candidate could garner this level of support at all.
I think it just speaks so beautifully to what you broke it down for now, truthfully, probably over a decade, about the effectiveness of what the decadent veil did to our politics. Because there's no, I think part of the reason, because even when you talk to, because I had the opportunity, Trump and Kamala both came to Fayetteville, North Carolina. I didn't get a chance to see Kamala, but I did get a chance to see Trump. And one of the things that I've even noticed with even a lot of his white supporters, they think there's a chance that they could be him. Now, with some of them, they might be right. Here's the problem. There's a lot of Negroes that think that they could be him. There's a lot of Negroes that, for whatever reason, see themselves in Trump because of who you just mentioned, because of Diddy, because of Kanye, because of these puppets. We think that there's some sort of magical wand that'll get waved when you vote for Trump, that'll put you into this class that you have been systematically locked out of on purpose. And I think it even speaks beautifully to the fact that too, like on the flip side, even with Kamala, I've had some folks from her campaign calling me, the amount of disrespect, especially when they find out that I'm a black man, if they ask about it, the amount of disrespect that they come to me with. I even had one lady she told me she was an immigrant, told me that my reasonings of wanting a black agenda, more specific for myself, she said I was being too emotional and everybody can't get what they want, and that you need to just go ahead and vote for Kamala or Trump's going to get in office.
Yeah, it's like it's just
like that.
Straight fear mongering is what we hear, and what we're running into in many ways is that rappers worship Donald Trump in the past. They had him in the songs about capitalism and the rise to wealth. They presented him as a rags to riches story. He wasn't. And now the consequences, even Nipsey, he was doing opportunity zones. That's right wing. Y'all don't know that? Well, Nip was doing good stuff. He was doing opportunity zones. Go look it up. Do you not understand? I talked to Killer Mike. I had to tell him opportunity zones don't make no sense. You got T.I. and Charlamagne going down to visit Tim Scott over opportunity zones. So Donald Trump is a creation of this ignorant part of, I believe, the Black American psyche that largely came out of not going to college. I'm gonna be honest, in my view. Many of these men are very low educated people, and then you presented them as super capitalists, but they don't got no capital. And they ain't got no even mind to be a capitalist. That's just my view. Go ahead. I'll give you the last thought.
No, you're absolutely right. I think it's because we haven't really learned as a people how to truly calculate wealth, because we're being told we already have it, but don't know that we don't have it. So you have us in, like you said, in these situations where we can't tell the difference between a leader and a leech, because for whatever reason, when one person becomes aspirational, we don't try to figure out, hey, how are they eating?
Somebody in the chat asked something. I'm sorry for cutting you off. It's just I don't have time to explain to you how to be a fucking poor black person.
Oh, wow.
What's wrong with opportunity zones? They're a way to help the wealthiest people in America and make it look like they're helping you. I don't have time for +1. We did that in 2017. You don't have time for that. I don't know if you can't engage the conversation at a level where you understand 1 and 2 and 3. This ain't the discussion for you. And I just think that Black America allows a lot of people to be at the dinner table talking that ain't got but a 12th grade education. Charlamagne is a dropout. He got 1 unit in U.S. history from a night school in goddamn South Carolina. How is he talking? He don't know anything. And how do you guys not recognize that? Let's talk about it. Give me your last thoughts.
No, you 100% right, sir. Because that I think that's what it's all coming down to, is that the decadent veil is falling very quickly, and I think it's time for us to start tracking the failure. There's a lot of lot of black businesses that get started, track how many keep failing. I've seen, I can't tell you how many restaurants keep failing in my city and nobody talks about it, but the mayor and everybody else is at the ribbon cutting ceremony. That's all I got to say. Love the ADOS fam. Love you, sir. I appreciate your work.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for calling in, my young. I think he's in his 20s. He's been calling in for quite some time, watching for years. We are here building a generation of thinkers. And I don't got time to do no basic arithmetic. But when you look back at Kamala, because I'm talking about Kamala, I'm talking about Trump, a lot of black people screaming as Trump as an alternative with no politics to undergird it. They don't understand. Opportunity zones weren't for you, and Nipsey didn't know what he was talking about. And neither did T.I., neither did Charlemagne. What do you expect? Charlemagne is a night school graduate in South Carolina. What are we talking about? He don't know nothing. So nonetheless, we got now Kamala, this person who, when we look back at her legacy, nobody talks about anymore, had men in prison, black and Latino men, fighting fires for free, basically. Kamala Harris AG office tried to keep inmates locked up for cheap labor. We're going to brush that to the side. You had the Sheree People story that I covered multiple times and nobody seems to want to touch, that showed, in fact, that Kamala's AG office led to a statewide attack on parents to the point where this black woman got dragged out of her house. And you had people in this country, like Capehart from Washington, say that nobody got locked up under Kamala. She was the attorney general. You don't understand the discussion. There's a lot of political discussion here that people don't have the political base to even understand. Of course she championed. She used it at her inauguration. I showed the video. How are you talking about this subject and you don't know that somebody actually did go to prison, many people, and that in effect, that Kamala might not have been the Orange County prosecutor for Sheree Peoples, but she created the law herself. She did it on her own. This was her passion project. If you don't know that, I don't know what to talk to you about. Don't ask me about opportunities on and truancy laws. Somebody says she had my nephew fighting fires. Come on. Let me go back to what we talking about. She had my nephew fighting fires, yet when he released, he couldn't be a firefighter because he felon, probably. I'm just talking. So Kamala need the black vote. Trump want the black vote. And she talking about what can be unburdened by what has been, basically saying your family erasure of ADOS. Little slick move by this lady who's half Indian, half Jamaican. We didn't need to. I said it before. This Candace Owens lady, they needed to review because they have Indio-Jamaicans. We have a whole different arc of development here in America where we don't have these offset groups. Like when you go to South Africa, there's a whole population of Indians that were brought there hundreds of years ago. We don't have that. We don't have that here. You have when you go to Jamaica, you have the black population there. They did a study I saw that it was only 400 people, but then people were like 89 and 98% African. No crossbreeding. You think her daddy is that? No, not the man that we see. Somebody said they have Indians. How else would the lady that's a Brahmin Indian that's her mama marry him? Nobody want to ask that question. We don't know nothing about not marrying outside of your group. We don't know nothing about that because we're an open armed, truly American group. No, other people don't move like that. Thank you, K Stacks, for the support. Support the channel. I want to talk. I want to have a discussion. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello?
What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello?
Hello, what's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Michael. I'm calling from Chicago.
Hey, Michael, let me read this to you and then you give me your opinion. Momentum shifts against Harris in the presidential race. This is The Hill. It's not a right-wing paper, and it's really not considered left-wing. It's The Hill. The tides of the election are turning against President Harris. During the late summer and heading into the fall, Harris appeared to be the candidate with the momentum, with Democrats comparing her candidacy to former Obama's. It was never that candidacy. After President Biden dropped out of the race, Democrats have made gains in the polls, making up lost ground. Where Biden has stumbled. But recent polls suggest that the energy has leveled off while Harris still holds a narrow edge, and I don't believe she does. I believe the polling is wrong. Over President Trump nationally and in several battleground states, she has been losing ground. And in many, she needs all those states. That's the difference. In the past 2 weeks, there's been a slight trend towards Trump in some of the battleground states. In Wisconsin, for example, Harris went from leading Trump by 2 points to being tied. In Michigan, she also went from leading by a point to Trump leading by 1 point. There's a lot of people are going to vote Stein in Michigan. And then also a lot of the Muslims will not vote for Harris due to what's going on in the Middle East. None of that, I don't think, is showing up in the polling the way it should. This might be a slaughter. I'm not going to say it's going to be Mondale in 84 when Reagan slaughtered Mondale. We'll talk about that later. But I have a projected map, and I believe that projected map is quite accurate. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, a couple things in regards to that. I think we should err on caution of, just to be safe, because a couple of years ago, everyone thought it was going to be the red wave with the Republicans coming in and taking over from the Democrats, but that didn't quite happen. The Democrats are quite shifty and kind of sneaky, so I'm expecting for it to be tight because of that, and plus because we have all these immigrants and everything. I'm not sure if they can vote or if they've been given the right to vote, because if I'm not mistaken, they were trying to give them the right to vote. So I expect a lot of crap to happen. It may not, but I'm just erring on the side of caution.
I want everybody to understand, just giving this an arc. Myself, Yvette Carnell, and ADOS, we set the entire framework of the discussion that people are having around Kamala and Obama. Nobody else was. This Philly article, you can go look and go on. You can do your own internet research. This was the nexus because it came out of ADOS, where we had our conference, where we had the Angela Project, and everybody was confused when this article came out. Even Nicole Hannah-Jones and Joy Reid. It's not whether Kamala Harris is black enough, critics say, and they talking about us, not all people. You read the article, it's about ADOS, but whether her policy will support Native Black Americans. And you saw this raised question: who are these people? You got Obama, the first black president wasn't ADOS. It's only 100,000 Kenyans in America. How did you get elected? Like there's 100. People say that's divisive. Well, Cubans and Mexicans and Ecuadorians don't have to be one solidified group. You got to prove to me what geopolitical advantage being connected to Kenya brings, or what population base do you provide? Neither thing mattered. So effectively, he just got in on confusion that people are ADOS. Because we hadn't the boomers failed, the black boomers, in creating a language of just a group. Who are we? So, like, nonetheless, this article comes out and we get a bunch of attacks. But go ahead, give me your last take on it. I'm sorry.
Not to touch you off, Tom, but like you and Yvette did a great job of pushing that, putting that out into the atmosphere for us. Because before then, we were looking at blackness and just looking at all of us as black. Once you put that out there, that changed our perspective and stuff. And that's why I think a lot of black people, especially in Chicago, because I hear it all the time, from West Side to South Side, in regards to us voting or voting based on our lineage. I didn't hear this before 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't hear this at all. All that, and mostly because of you guys. Number two, I just wanted to say, a lot of blacks are voting for Trump, not to fight Kamala, but because of immigration, inflation. We're feeling it here in Chicago. It's bad. And it was bad before. Now it's even worse. And now we got all these Venezuelans taking over apartments.
I hear all that. But what does that do if he cut all the programs? I'll get into it later. Like, I don't think that we understand this is the right wing. And I'm not saying I just think this is such a poor group that you better look out for your services as well. Because a lot of times what will happen is it's not just Trump. Now you voting red all down the ballot. And these are the people that will cut the school off of your kids. And you're poor. You're a poor person. But see, that's the first thing. It's not just, it's about a confrontation. Let me say this. A lot of black men are struggling.
Go ahead.
I believe a lot of black men under the age of 50 that didn't get the pensions and everything, they're struggling with their lack of social choice. They remake choice. And this is one way to remake choice. No, you don't really get to choose the red. Your baby mama is the one that's dealing with all the issues. You give the little child support, which ain't enough. And you don't know that by voting that way, they're going to cut the program that she put with the child support. You need to know that. Fuck all that. You get to be a kid. You need to know the consequences beyond a basic gun rights immigration analysis. How does this impact you individually tomorrow, in a month, in 6 months? I had a kid. You did. Go ahead.
Well, in regards to all that, that's what I was trying to say. As well as the immigration, I don't think they're going to vote red all the way down, but they're just looking at Trump because, we didn't have this immigration effect before Trump. We didn't have this inflation problem before.
You think this is a good discussion. No, I'm telling you, like they're saying, fuck the Democrats. I don't want to vote blue. I'm telling you, like this is a whole movement because you have a very low educated group. This group didn't get college educated. We have a group basically sitting around.
No.
Go ahead. I'm not trying to scream at you.
I know what I'm trying to relay to you, how we feel out here on the ground in the trenches. It's not so much about the education; it's about what's going on with our pocketbooks and what was going on 4 years ago. That's the message.
But Trump helps the rich people. He don't help you. Let me say two things. Trump really is going to help rich people, not you. That's the first thing. But the second thing is more important. If you got a school and the school is $12,000 over the year, that's the way public school was. They would give the state would give them $12,000 for your kid. Trump led the charter schools where now you got to contribute. You don't realize that if he moved to charter schools, he might be helping you in one way, but in another way, you got to pay a bill that you didn't have to pay before. And you're going to look up and be paying for your goddamn water. You're going to look up and be paying for your school. That's how we got to charter schools under Betsy DeVos. It started in Michigan.
Right. So that's micro. You're speaking of micro, speaking of macro, where people are, again, immigrants. They're in our neighborhoods. We're fighting them now. Our gangs are fighting these Venezuelan people. That's a macro problem that they can see clear as day that the Democrats caused. And then secondly,
wait, what's the macro problem? This is a good discussion. You talking about your kid having a charter school versus a public school is a macro problem?
Wait, hold on. My kid having a charter school. My kids are in charter school right now.
Yeah, that's not good. Charter schools aren't good. We supposed to have public schools that they pay everything for. So how is that compared to a Venezuelan having an apartment? How is that primary?
Okay, hold on for 1 second. Now you're asking me a question.
All right, y'all, I apologize. The camera went out. The guy, I've just released him. It's a spirited discussion, but I don't understand. It's kind of like a gun rights discussion. They trying to take our guns. I think a lot of people don't understand what is the most important aspect of your life, your health insurance. Do you even have life insurance? How much is the school your kid go to? How much is the food your kid eat? I don't mean inflation. I mean the actual, is there a program, whether it be WIC or whatever, that is actually getting cut down because of Trump being in office that you ain't paying for it because you ain't there in the household? I think a lot of these people are just like not paying the bill of life. And so like when you look up, they talking, but they don't live with the baby mama. So all you do is pay your little $800 or your $600. But you don't know that she put the $600 with the WIC and with the public school and you talking about some Venezuelans that you ain't dealt with yourself individually. You'll say, we is in Chicago. No, you. Next door. Show me the picture of the Venezuelan. It's like a lot of hype is going on right now. And I'm not here to advocate for Trump because I damn sure told y'all Kamala ain't right. But I am here to ask you, when you going to become a man or a woman or an adult and really answer my question? Why is it that you can't afford to be in America? Everybody want to talk to Tone, but nobody want to talk to Tone. You got Kamala, and people don't understand. Whatever Kamala is today, this is 2016, this is her auntie talking about Kamala, is because of my sister. So we're going to define her through a Jamaican that we're not clear what his ethnic lineage is totally, but we're going to define her through him. He don't never be around. But we're getting clear record that she is defined through her Indian Brahmin mama by her herself. Every time she talks about her mama. My sister inculcated South Indian culture and values in her. And we're not going to deal with this? Deal with the fact that she stood up there and said, I'm not going to do anything specific for Black people? I just want to talk. Somebody said with WIC you get poor, but you get something in your stomach. We got so many. I just think that right now, one of the dangers is the polarization of it all is leading to a lack of discussion and honesty about who you see in the mirror. You out here with thick shoulders talking about you skinny. Out here with a bald head talking about you got the Hulk Hogan. You out here looking in the mirror seeing Diddy, not realizing Diddy in jail. Oh, the old Diddy's who I see. Take that. You don't see the honest truth that this woman Standing with this other Indian woman is an Indian woman. Ain't nothing wrong with being an Indian woman, but you can't be an Indian woman talking about ADOS as your base of voting and not tell us what you're going to give us. Even if you ADOS, you need to tell us what you're going to give us. Can we talk today? But traditionally, the black vote went Democrat at this rate. So we look back at 2012, it was 93%. This is men and women. 95. That's why it makes no sense what they're saying about black men and the black male vote. Shout out to Nina for making that very clear, because these are black men and black women. 04, it came down to 88. In 2000, it was at 90. In 96, 84, you had Clinton doing weird stuff at Stone Mountain and going right. So there was a lot of things going on, but it's still like above. The rest of the people, like Latinos, are like 60. And then whites are like 40. That's why we even have a discussion. 45, women and men. So you have this traditional voting block. And what's interesting about the play that people are trying to make is, no, you've invested all of this, so it's your party. So instead of doing the work to demand that your party be given to you, kind of like reparations, you're going to run away from your party and say, I'm going to go to the little red spaces that really are far right. It don't make no sense. But you don't even know this chart. Y'all sitting around dinner tables with people that might not have a 12th grade education talking about advanced politics. Y'all sitting around, and ain't nothing wrong if you tell me the union you started. Tell me the bus driving group that you sit down with every night. You can be a bus driver. That's not what we're seeing. We're seeing Uber drivers, people that are unhoused, people that are using this as a screaming mechanism to basically shout out frustrations and confuse the discussion. I just want to talk. I don't want to hear about no Venezuelans until you show me that your kid ain't in no charter school. And if it's a charter school, how we get there? Oh, Trump. Trump did that. That's why you got to do them hours. You didn't used to have to do them hours. That's why you got to pay for the books. You don't see that that's part of why your bills is so high? Come on, bro. I ain't got a kid and can see that. I want to talk. I want to have a discussion. 310-388-3499. You got these rappers worshiping Trump, but then they get to play liberal, tell us how we should vote. But then at the same time, without them, I don't believe Trump exists. I don't believe any singular Republican candidate could have the position that Trump has in the black psyche other than him because of the rap. I believe part of what's going on is a kick in the mind of particularly black males under the age of 50, where they're thinking of hip hop songs and they don't even know it. That's the trigger. Because I don't believe any of the other major names, Jeb Bush or any of the, they don't even have major names. That's how bad it is on the Republican side. But Rand Paul, I don't believe they would be hollering that name out. They are hollering out their own contorted, crazed idea of black capitalism and American ascension. Let's talk about it in the dark. Late on it. Yeah, I apologize. It was on the lower grade camera. I wanted to make sure I get the higher grade camera. So you had Obama say last week about black men, and nobody really gets the level of what I'm talking about. Obama is Kenyan and white. It's important just to get specific, not divisive. There might not be 100,000 Kenyans here, and we don't know how many are like refugees and things of the sort. Nothing wrong with being a refugee. It just doesn't get you to the president's office. So a man that got 100,000 people here that came in like 90 and after, and is white, is now talking to ADOS folks. And then his father went to Harvard or something. Some weird, quirky stuff here from a third world country, developing country. And now he talking to me. My mama and daddy had me at 16 and was true ADOS locked out. Both didn't know their daddies. How you get to talk to me if you don't get the fuck out of my face? We ain't been saying that to these folks. Again, the first black president wasn't ADOS. The first black vice president wasn't ADOS. The first black attorney general wasn't ADOS. The first black press secretary wasn't ADOS. And all of them might have 1 million people in the country that came after like 1980. And you gonna tell me that's happenstance? Obama's statement around black men not supporting a candidate because the gender falls apart, because he was talking about us not supporting, but you don't know the Hillary Clinton numbers? And everybody in the room didn't know the Hillary Clinton numbers. So in Hillary Clinton's numbers, black men supported her at an 80% rate despite the super predator talk that she did. Now, black women were at 93. When we look now at Kamala's numbers, black men are at 73 and black women are at 79. That's horrible, horrible for a black female. And this comes out of the Pew, for a black female to be pulling those kind of numbers from black females. But it's not part of the dialogue at all that she can't. She's down, if you look, from 93 to 79, like 14 points with black women. And nobody's talking about it. Now, she's also down 7 points with black men, I think from 80 to 73, which is horrible too. What's the point of you running? This totally guts the Barack Obama scapegoat statement about misogyny being the driving factor for why Harris is struggling. These numbers. Polls are showing only 73% of black men support Harris, and black women are also at an abysmal 79%. Harris is running 7% behind Clinton in support by black males, and a full 14% behind on black women, and nobody's talking about it. Somebody said charter schools are free. Okay, well, tell them about them hours and them books and them extra fees. And no, it's partial privatization. Go look up the Overton window. Let me write it down because you'll understand that you don't know enough to have discussion. And also, a lot of times they be low grade. That's what we found in Michigan. They were graduating. People had to choose a C+ school. The Overton window is about moving you towards a certain. They wanted to take. They were literally Betsy DeVos was behind this. They want to take schools away, so they move you to charter, and then they move you to privatization, and then they're gonna take your schools away. You don't know that. I don't know how many of you are in households leading them, let alone discussing topics. You had a woman after, so again, black women are down what looks like 10-14% from Clinton to Kamala. Nobody wants to even touch that hot potato. Black men are down 7 points, which is a horrible number because this is all she got is being this candidate. And you had this woman come in a discussion and say it could be argued that it's because she's a white woman. They'd say black men want so badly to hold on to the superiority they feel over. Well, what about the black women down 14 points? I can't help y'all think. It's fucking stupid, man. Black women are down twice as much, 14 points for Harris compared to Clinton. This is an unintelligible reply. What are you guys making yourself out of peanut butter and jelly? It don't even make no sense. Out here slapping peanut butter and not even good peanut, but Skippy and like Smuckers. No, you got the one with the stripes, that old nasty stuff. It's in the same jar. And she thought it was smart what she said. They say black men want so badly to hold on to purity. They feel black women they elected a racist white woman. Hold on. 93-79. Harris lean. And this was the Pew study, and they were talking about all black voters, and they put their breakdown under it. This was the whole thing was in the context of black people. So this is blacks. They don't want to give us the numbers, man. And half y'all don't even know. I can't deal with it, bro. You got people like Jamil Hill that attack black males and their voting patterns. But then how many of y'all remember this? That it came out that she a Republican, or she was, when she registered to vote in Florida, Jamil Hill chose to affiliate with the Republican Party. The decision, she said, was pragmatic. So she got all the smoke about black folk, black men in particular, and she out here registered as a Republican. Her mama voted for Trump. Yes, my mother voted for Trump. She's been voting Republican since post Bill Clinton. And then she got an article where she says you're a racist if you vote for Trump. We're dealing with a psychotic break. Yes, my mother voted for Trump. Why Jamil Hill believes you're a racist if you vote for Trump. But then if you say, is your mama a racist? She'll be like, no, she's not racist. She just vote for Trump. Oh, okay. We have this man in Charlemagne that keeps coming out, very low educated. I don't even know if very is the right word. I had to go research it in the code section to be able to explain to y'all what it meant. I believe we are seeing a Kamala Harris that is desperate. That's my view of what's going on. You can have your own. And now getting poll numbers that show her slaughtered, she gonna get slaughtered election night. So now she's just going on anything, all the smoke, rolling with his little Jerry curl, Charlemagne with the beanie cap. I mean, come on, you're talking to a man with 1 unit of U.S. history from a night school. How deep can we go in a discussion? A nervous caller phoned into Kamala Harris's town hall event expressing fear that Trump will use an antiquated law to target people of color. All right. It didn't make no sense. He happens to be referring to the Alien Enemies Act. All right. Did he use the law last time? I believe someone put Charlemagne here. I don't know who put him here, but someone put this man here and keeps him here as a political roadblock. Charlemagne the God says that his controversial meeting with conservative Tommy Lauren was orchestrated by Viacom executives. So he was, if y'all remember a few years back, it was real kooky. He started saying that Tommy Lauren, this right-wing white woman blonde, was his friend and how black women needed to act like him. But then when it came out, he said that they told him to have her as a friend. Well, it's then the same people that told us that you got to stay here with your low-educated nonsense that you keep talking. Remember, he had the picture of Hillary Clinton. He took the picture hugging her. It's just a joke, man. It makes no sense that ADOS Black America has allowed the media to prop up Seat of God with limited education, understanding of politics. We as black folks allowed a man with a few units of high school level U.S. history at a night school to be our spokesperson. And then he ain't even got no anchoring. That's how you get to the Tommy Lauren thing. You think they're going to tell me to be friends with Tommy Lauren? I'm going to be friends with her? I don't need no low-spirited, low-educated, low-moral man. This man's doing anything to sell them damn horrible books. Can we talk? Can we talk about it? This guy, let me move over a little bit. This guy that is a high school dropout does not understand politics. She would be better off with Whitmer. Remember, he didn't even understand what was going on. We would have been better off with Whitmer. I'll show you in a second, but you got a person again, I like to get specific. Look, this is from the code section in South Carolina to get a general education diploma, which is what you get when you drop out. I think he dropped out 10th, 11th grade. You only need 1 unit of U.S. history. So we got a man with 1 unit of U.S. history and 1.5 unit in government, and that might be 10th grade level in South Carolina too, not California. And he gonna be the person to break down. Do you know what he's missing? Do you know what he doesn't know? Do you understand how ignorant this man might be? I want to talk. When I went to UCLA and I majored in political science, people that don't know the background and history of Bunchy Hall and UCLA and black politics. But just look at the level of comparative politics, method and models, political science, race and ethnicity politics, American politics. How am I supposed to talk to a man that got 1 unit in U.S. history and listen to him talk? How is he talking to the president? How did y'all let this happen? Damn donkey of the day ass man. I want to talk. Yeah, they saying UCLA, shit, they done bounced that shit damn near top 10. I think it's top 15, #1 public university. And we have a Kamala that I told y'all from day one never should have been running. There's no precedent for somebody like Biden dropping out this late. How do you drop out of the election, but keep the presidency, showing that you have your mind about you? How did that even happen? How these 10 Democrats would fare against Trump. So we're supposed to have an open primary, but we ended up with Kamala. And if you look, the New York Times did a piece where they showed us effectively what was wrong with her track record. And what they found is that among all the choices they had, Whitmer, Warnock, several other, Newsom, the riskiest choice was Kamala, and somehow we got her with no primary. And don't nobody want to go back to that. And if we lose, the DNC took our vote, our right to vote liberal, and gave it to the riskiest choice with no primary. These 10 Democrats would fare, how these 10 Democrats would fare against Trump, rated by our columnists and writers. Risky choice would beat Trump. Whitmer, Newsom's way over here, but to the farthest level is Kamala. Harris has a feeble electoral track record. She struggled badly in 2020 and barely before then. Won her first attorney general race in California, but she'll benefit from a likely unified Democratic establishment, and she can forcefully press the case against Trump on abortion rights. It won't hurt that she'd be the nation's first female president. Harris is the clear favorite to win the nomination and would allow the easiest transition to a new candidate. Come on, man. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Tone. Good afternoon. How are you? I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey, give me your take on it, man, because I don't even understand how Kamala is here.
So my take on it is this, and I have my number blocked because, like, I used to do strategy for the Democrats, right? And I just left it about 2 months ago because from what I see, right, and this is my opinion, this is just from what I've seen, I see more ADOS folks moving towards the right and moving more so towards for Trump.
Are they moving right? Or are they moving just towards Trump and they don't even know what right means? That's the question.
I think they're moving more so towards Trump, right? Because the thing is, Tone, right? When you have the messaging on things like taxes and things like that, right? I see that folks like to be capitalists without capital is what I call it. I mean, when it comes to it, one needs to vote for policy that will help them move up and be in that middle class and be able to sustain themselves, right? If we look at how things, are going for many of those folks, they're being fooled by policies that help rich people because they're made to be fooled to think, well, one day you will be this rich, and when you're this rich, you don't want these taxes and all these things.
Let me say this. I think, I don't think we've been honest though. I don't. If that was true, I think that another Republican could tap into the same energy. I think Trump is just in black people's mind through media and celebrity, in a weird kind of contorted way. And if it was any other white Republican, it would not have this energy amongst black folks as of an alternative. It would just be like,
no, for sure.
Go ahead.
I think when it comes to Trump, the case is different just because he's been around many black celebrities before, and when you look at the imagery of the buildings that he doesn't really own, right? The imagery of Trump is what
the movies he's been in. He was in Home Alone. I mean, he been in all the movies and all that. Go ahead. So like they voting for like a celebrity.
Home Alone. But like you said, right? All the rappers and all these people were with Trump in the early 2000s and did look up to him and did mention him in hip hop songs, and they did push him in the black community. So I feel like that is the case of what is going on now. But even if you look at the history of Trump, the way his father became rich was because when the FHA was pumping money into trying to make homes more equitable, Trump's father would build houses and charge the government more than what he actually spent. So that's how he was able to earn a lot of money, not necessarily from doing business independently directly. So to speak, that's what people miss. Many people become rich through governmental policy. When white folks are with politicians, they ask for contracts for, corn, steel, all these commodities that we use. But for us, we just want to be next to them.
Yeah, that's like Jay-Z. I got Obama on the phone. Jay-Z ain't walk away with not one oatmeal or orange or peanut or egg contract. Let me keep this moving. I want to keep you on the phone. Do you remember Mondale in '84? Are you familiar?
I am. Yes, I am.
So for everybody that's listening, in 1984, it was a slaughter. You had Mondale win one state, the Democratic candidate, and he got 13 votes. Reagan got 525, and it told the Democrats that they're going to have to move right. That's how we got to Clinton and Stone Mountain And so essentially what I believe can happen is I've seen projections that show Kamala she's not gonna have a Mondale outcome, but she can have this outcome where she don't get Wisconsin, she don't get Michigan, she don't get Ohio, she don't get Pennsylvania, but she gets New York. She gets 226 to 312, which is still a slaughter in today's terms. I believe that's why she's doing all the interviews. Everything is pointing to a slaughter that we're not getting the information because she didn't even want to be seen at first. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts on it are people are being in denial, and her team is being in denial of how bad it will be and how bad she actually is doing. I mean, it's like they took the most racist, stereotypical thing and told her to push that towards black folks, and she has no problem doing it whatsoever. Even if we look at her father is more so of the Indian Jamaican. He doesn't align with black the way people try to make it. So he's a Jamaican of Indian descent. She's not really black or an African American. That's what people tend to miss. And it's like they just keep on pouring down with the stereotypes. I think in the interview with Charlemagne, when they asked about what she's done for black people, she talked about marijuana policy.
Yes, crypto, like, marijuana, what is she talking about? And the racism of that?
This is, but like you said, so the issue, and I'll tell you a story of one of my friends, right? Me and some of my friends, right? Some of my friends were raised by their moms, but then when they went to live with their fathers were asking their mothers for money to use for them, even though their mothers were paying for things for several years. So like I say, several black men are really not aware of what things are costing for their kids and how policy.
That's my point earlier. They don't. So I'm not saying all of y'all, but I'm saying there's a chunk of y'all that ain't in the household. So you pay your child support and then you be complaining, but that ain't enough. And even when you add in the child support, you need public schools to support that. But then you acting like you paying cash for the school. And like at the end of the day, you telling me about Venezuelans and you don't live on that side of town. Or you ain't never even seen a Venezuelan. Or it just be like you talking about gun rights and your kid is in a school I seen in Chicago where they ain't got no good air coming in the room. I mean, you don't have any prioritization. And maybe that's part of the consequence of not being in the household. Is that you get to live fancifully. A lot of black mothers could probably speak to that. Hey, caller, I'm going to talk about one last thing before I let you go because you seem like you can speak to this. I'm also running into there is a serious lack of intellectual thought in this race. And I'm not saying that if you don't have a college education, you can't speak. But one thing that happens through college is learning your limitations. Like I'm not an engineer. I'm not a doctor. We start talking about needs and I don't know that. I am a high-level political thinker. I don't have time for you to think that me and Charlemagne are even in the same lane. We're not on the same level. I don't know, man. He got 1 unit of U.S. history, and y'all want me to think he should talk for us. Got me fucked up. So now let me say this. You also have the discussion being dragged down by people saying things, and this is kind of the way we've engaged politics. They're just their idea of things. You had that with the California reparations people. We gonna make it so Kamala ain't gonna get no vote. What are you talking about? It's 10 of you guys. Fucking idiots. It's 10 of you. You are in California. This is going blue. Okay, how do you know that, Tone? So you got this man who came in and said California will likely flip red because Newsom vetoed reparations. He did not veto reparations. And then in addition, it's not gonna flip red. How do you just say that? Like, how are you guys in these households and you'll let somebody say that because you don't want to cause a hubbub, and then we got to deal with the person that you created? You can deal with your husband, deal with your brother, deal with your son. Tell them when they crazy. Let me show you what I mean. I said, man, this is an ignorant post. Many of you don't know politics enough to be in these threads. California is not flipping red. Look at this. Harris holds 24-point lead over Trump in California. I don't never want to hear from you in my thread. A lot of us need to cut people off that are showing signs of craze and using this political moment to act out and throw tantrums. Give me your take.
My take on it is this one, and I don't think it's unique to anyone, but the problem with Black America is because and Adolf specifically is that because we have had so much Black celebrity, we don't know our limitations, right? When you go to college, the kids who are in engineering, when they have to write a political science paper, they go to their friends who are political science majors and so forth. There are too many people speaking on Black politics who don't know the history of it. When you look at a political degree, you have to get into the root of what America is, but what America is for a Black person. Black people think that just because we move from a blue state like California, move down to Texas or Mississippi, where rent is cheaper, our lives are going to become better. But even if you move to those states, what protections do they have for good classes for your children? What protections do they have in case you were ever to be unemployed, and how long would you have unemployment benefits for? That's what people need to think about, those political matters that are important, not just about super capitalistic ideas for people worth $500 million and up, and you don't even have $1,000 in your savings. It makes no sense.
Hey man, look at this chart. Look at this chart as you leave out. This is an older chart, but it still reflects like the reality of it. This is the number of, in terms of graduation, they had on Wiki. So like 30% of who have four-year degrees. So like if you look, like foreign-born whites, 37% had a 4-year degree, and 30% of their native-born. If you look at Blacks, only 16% of like native-born, the ADOS, had a 4-year degree. So that means we got a group where like, what is it, 84% don't even have a 4-year degree. Now somebody would say, do you need a 4-year degree to talk politics? Well, I definitely know you need more than 1 unit of U.S. history. But in addition, I would argue, yeah, because what happens is you end up saying stuff like just out of the, just stupid. And people are sitting there, and now y'all debating about California. They had a whole thing with the California reparations people talking about California going red if Kamala don't meet with them or something. They said, oh, fucking stupid, man. California would likely flip red because Newsom vetoed reparations. What are you fucking talking about? Harris holds a 24. They're not talking about California. How do you not know that? How do you come up with a world where a Venezuelan apartment building, because I'm not saying how many apartment buildings, let's say it's 5 of them, is more important than whether they cut services from these highly conservative, red, right-wing folk that you need, because all you paying is the basics of child support. Can we talk? Hey, I'm gonna let you go. I got a whole queue. I want to talk because I don't even know what Black folks be talking about. Liberal voters should be livid with the DNC for swapping in Kamala Harris. I told y'all this. You had a CNN senior data reporter say this about Trump. At this particular hour, Donald Trump's going to put up the best performance with Black voters since Nixon in 1960. What has Donald Trump done to deserve that? What policies and what, like, I don't even know. I think all he has done is taking pictures with these fools. That's what he's done. So y'all out here voting for Black celebrity and don't even know it because it's in the back of your mind. Now I like him. Some Black voters in Georgia see Trump as a real alternative. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Tone?
Give me your take on it, because they saying that now I see him. Some Black voters in Georgia see Trump as a real option. What are we talking about?
Yeah, what's up, Tone? Hey, Tone, I'm gonna be real short, man. This is D-Thought from representing Cleveland, and I want to just share something, brother. Like the level of political education that you have given people over your tenure and your work, brother. So I was at the first ADOS conference, and Tone, I still remember that because I have a picture of you and my son. He was about 10 at the time. He's in high school now. But what I want to share, Tone, is that, and I'm not saying this to try to be braggadocious or nothing, Tone, but I have a PhD in communication. So that's the highest degree you can get in communication. But when you give out your political education, I go back and listen to your videos 3, 4, 5 times, each time picking up an intricate thing that I didn't learn from the first time. So what we're dealing with now, we're in what is called the death of expertise. And this is a book by Dr. Thomas Nichols, basically has this to say, Tone, and this is basically what's going on, because people won't humble themselves and listen to you and learn. And so when we're having these conversations and things, people are bringing their opinions against facts. And this is what he said, Tone. He said that depth of expertise follows up on this rejection of experts as because the openness of the internet, the emergence of customer satisfaction models, 24-hour entertainment machine, and then he says this, paradoxically, the increasing democratic dissemination of information rather than producing an educated public has instead created an army of ill-informed and angry citizens who denounce intellectual achievement. When ordinary citizens believe that no one knows more than the other, democratic institutions themselves are in danger of falling either to populism or technology. And then it says the worst case combination of both. So what we have is we have people that want to argue opinions with facts. And we're at the time where expertise is not valued. So that's why we have a Charlemagne the God. His opinion is better than, let me get this, a UCLA graduate law degree, and we're in some sad times. That's all I wanted to say, Paul. I want you to keep doing your work, brother, because you have blessed me in so many ways and giving me a political education that I did not get even going through a PhD program.
Thank you, brother.
So we love you, Tone. Keep doing your thing, brother.
Thank you, man. So we got this article. I'm gonna start moving towards the end of the show. Now I like him. Some black voters in Georgia see Trump as a real option. Trump's a man of his word. What he says he's gonna do, he does, Parker said. This is stupidity. He ain't no man of his word, man. He's a super capitalist pointing at you. Pointing at you and then gave you charter schools. Trump's policies for black Americans. Trump says he's the best president for African Americans. Is this really true? Got them back here. No, Trump hasn't been the best president for black Americans since Lincoln. Okay, let's get more specific. This is from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. Trump budget deeply cuts health, housing, other assistance for low and moderate income families. Less than 2 months after signing massive tax cuts that largely benefit those at the top of the economic ladder, President Trump has put forward a 2019 budget that cuts basic assistance that millions of families struggling to get by need to help pay the rent, put food on the table, and get health care. Let's move back to this. Now, I like him, some black voters in Georgia say. This be your brother that you let come eat for free at your house with money that you struggle to make. And he out here acting a fool and you ain't putting him in his goddamn place. Trump's a man of his word. What he say he gonna do, he does. Yeah, he say he gonna help the rich. And he point at you. Let me finish this. The cuts would affect a broad range of low and moderate income people, including parents, children, seniors, and people with disabilities. Taken together, the cuts are far deeper than any ever enacted and would deepen poverty and hardship and swell the ranks of the uninsured. The budget also scales back efforts to promote opportunity and upward mobility, such as by cutting both job training and programs that make college more affordable. These cuts fly in the face of the administration's rhetoric about expanding opportunity. Let's go back and look at what anchors these black men running around here with these red outfits. Trump's a man of his word. Don't sound like it. He pointing at you. I just want to talk about it. You got Kamala on one side. She talking about crypto and weed for black folk. And she Indian Jamaican. You got Trump on the other side. And y'all voted for him because Snoop Dogg got a picture with him. And then we'll say, no, they'll do it to the policy. All right. Well, you tell that to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. Trump budget deeply cuts health, housing, other assistance for low and moderate income families. Maybe you love him. He don't love you back. I just wanted to come today and talk about it because I believe you got a Trump on one side and a Kamala on the other side, and you got a problem where we have not positioned an understanding of being ADOS, let alone an understanding of our own situation to tell us how to vote. We have not done the work to look at. I sent out the link to look at what all the ballot propositions are. Did you use the link that I sent out on Twitter to learn your ballot propositions, or you just walked in and picked anything? Are you doing the work to be an adult here? Do you understand that your child support ain't enough to support no child? Oh, okay. You mad because it got ordered. Well, sorry, they had to order it because you wouldn't pay it on your own. I need you to understand that you have an obligation to lead your family, not just a requirement. This is Tone Talks. Please go to tonetalks.net, subscribe, donate, and share. I just want to have this discussion because nobody else is having it. Support my channel. Support my channel. Support Yvette Carnell. Support the ADOS Foundation. We out.